This week's safety toolbox talk is going to be in regard to hole covers and canopies for falling object protection. Once again, month of May, fall protection, stand downs throughout the month. This is the third video that I'll be making this month in regard to fall protection. The first one was on guardrail systems and what they're capable of withstanding as far as outward forces and downward deflections, and the fact that they're an engineering control to stop us, prevent us from falling off the leading edge of a structure or a leading edge in general. The second video this month was on fall arrests, calculating your fall distances, understanding a 5,000-pound anchorage point, and your means and measures of whether you want to use a shock-absorbing lanyard, a retractable and or a rope grab lanyard as a means, and then also knowing and understanding how to calculate those distances. But what also falls into fall protection, subpart M, besides guardrails and fall arrest systems, is hole covers and canopies. And a hole cover typically would be on a working and walking surface, such as this parking structure we have on one of our projects, where we're actually doing sounding of this existing parking garage, finding areas that need to be restored, chopping them out, leaving a hole exposed to a fall to a lower elevation. So the standard in subpart M states we need to cover the hole and we need to color code it, and then additionally to that we need to TAPCON and make this thing secure. Story from my past: cleaning an upper deck 26 feet above 0-0, sheet of plywood laying on the floor. Laborer walks up, he's scrapping that floor, cleaning up the entire floor. He lifts that piece of plywood, not knowing there was a hole underneath it, and he stepped into the hole as he lifted the sheet of plywood, and he fell the 26 feet to the slab below. Hole covers are designed to be put in place so that you can stand on it and not fall through it, and it's supposed to hold at least 2 times its intended load. Now, when you talk about vehicular traffic out on roadways and this and that, you're going to start to see metal plates used, because now all of a sudden your 2 times the intended load turns out to be garbage trucks and semis and vehicular traffic. So what is 2 times the intended load? We typically use 3/4 inch plywood, TAPCON down with hole cover written on top of it. And this is a federal requirement in subpart M. So this week, let's talk a little bit about hole covers. For those of you who have been with us for a spell, 6 or 7 years ago, we had a hole that wasn't covered by a subcontractor on one of our projects, and we actually got cited by OSHA on a secondary citation. The primary went to the subcontractor, and that stayed on Berglund's record for 5 years. So there are reasons why we need to put hole covers down. Remember, if there's no hole cover down and there's someone working below you, and you kick aggregate down this hole, or a hammer drops, or a miscellaneous tool, it could strike someone, something, in the shoulder, in the head, because you didn't have a hole cover on it. So let's talk a little bit about hole covers this week. Once again, it does fall into the fall protection stand down requirement, and I'll do a small video also on falling object protection in regard to canopies and why. So our second part of this week's videos is on canopies, falling object protection. So on this particular elevation of this building, we have suspended boards all along the top here, and we park some on these canopies. And then below, we've got vehicular parking, and then we have an entranceway, primary entranceway into this structure. And the standards actually read that anybody working below here needs to be wearing a hard hat. You need to establish some kind of a controlled access zone, you know, a certain amount of distance away from the building. But also, what's to stop anything, a tool or anything out of the ordinary, from falling and hitting a pedestrian? So this week, we're talking about hole covers, we're talking about canopy protection, because once again, they are part of the fall protection stand down topic matter for the month of May. Let's have a safe day. Let's have a safe week. Thank you.